One more game, the 7th and 8th graders will take the floor. Mike Peden and Brandon Bell bringing you to the finish line here at the 2025 Sizzle Hoops Middle School All-Star Games.
This one should be a little bit more competitive, so to speak. Should be a fun one to watch, man. We got some good talent out here.
Well, we do have some athletes that are classing up, like Bellefield and Armstrong, but there also are some 8th graders who played on varsity this past year, including Justus Dayee, who played at Simley, who got a new head coach in Willie Brazil.
Yep.
Who told me he was tired of making the commutes from his neck of the woods to Columbia Heights for all those years. But I won't forget, I remember running into you, Brandon, covering that section game last year with Johnson and Columbia Heights, and
100%.
Everybody caught up with each other after the game. I said it really was a friendly rivalry. No one was going at each other, and it was just a true friendly. So
yeah, it's all about competition. You put it between those lines, man. But at the end of the day, you actually care about a lot of these kids when you see them grow up and being in those type of games. So it's fun to watch.
So Justus Dayee, he's one of the players. We've got a few more. Again, Armstrong and Bellefield. We'll close this one out. Pink team got on the board first, but they haven't put it up on the board. We've had a couple of buckets go unaccounted for, which is fine. It's an all-star game, so you're not worried about records or
it's out here having
numbers.
Fun. You want to compete.
Right.
Want to see some guys actually go after each other, get after each other.
So the pink team, okay, they've got them up on the board now, so they're at 2, and I guess that's what we'll go with. We're not going to have some controversy at the end of this all-star game, are we? If it's a 2 or 3 point game. Black team, pull up short. The coaches, P.J. DeMars and Chandler Centel. Chandler was on the Minnehaha staff for several years.
Really good coach.
Until Lance Johnson stepped down, and another reminder of how things change. That's still taking some time to get used to. 4-0, pink over black.
Good drive. Starting off a little slow for both teams. Black can't get one to go in just yet. Looking for a little bit more intensity out of these guys. A lot of them being a little too cool right now. Looking for some guys to actually pick up the intensity a little bit.
And I wonder, because we have 8th graders, some have played varsity already, there's less of a drop-off, less of a discrepancy as the pink team takes a 6-0 lead, so it might take a little bit. But a lot of friendly faces here. How about that reverse? Oh, I thought that was going in. He had it until
should have stayed on the left side and just made the layup on the left-hand side. But
3 on the way, and the pink team
rolling.
Holy roller, Batman! I don't think I've ever seen a ball nearly rim out like that. It's like putting a quarter down one of those funnels. Pink moving ahead. The handoff.
Pink is running off with it. Pink is running off with it right now, 11-0.
Black team backs off. I'm trying to figure out who is who. We've got enough to go 2 deep for each side and some classed up from the last game.
13-0 right now. Black is taking off right now. I mean, pink, I'm sorry. Pink is taking off
I was
right
going to
now.
say, today is the day to wear pink.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think all the pink teams have been on it. Pink won the last game 54-25.
I think I might have to trade my shirt in. Brian gave me a black one, so I might have to trade my shirt in for pink.
I got a pink because I'm a large. But pink is 2-0 today. Pink is 2-0. They won the first game, and the last game, and they might win this one too. We'll have free throws as we get line change substitutions. There's Colin Moore. I swear he's everywhere.
Gotta be.
I run into him all the time. Well, I guess he and I go back. I covered his daughter Haley when she was a student at Cretin-Durham Hall, who made it to state.
Stud.
And I got to see Colin Moore Jr., who goes by Chachi, as I understand it. I don't know how that came about. But
nice drive to the left.
It is fun to see how much things have changed. I'll never forget, he and I have some mutual connections, and I know you and Johnson, they never really focus on stats. I don't think most coaches do, but you never make it a point of emphasis. And I referenced that mantra when I covered Tartan a few years ago with one of their head coaches. I forget his name, but TK Mason, her mother, caught my remarks, and at the time, I don't know if she still is, was co-workers with Colin, and goes, "Hey, Mike, name dropped you in the broadcast. Oh, what do you say about me?" He's like, "Oh, you said you're very much a one game at a time guy," and he's like, he knows what we do.
Yeah. It's always been that mantra at Johnson. It was just one game at a time. We don't really focus on the stats. We probably got a couple 1,000-point scores, but I think the biggest thing about us is we're more focused on the wins, not the personal accolades.
Well, I think that idea, you weren't with the staff yet, I think that went a long way when they had that 32-0 run. That included wins over Hopkins and Central and everyone else. Because I think players, you get amped up when those big games are on the calendar. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson often said there were 80 regular season games and 2 games against each other. So they would always circle those meetings. But I often say, in order to position yourself as a contender, you got to take care of the other games too.
100%.
So you want to win those statement games that put you in position to get those high seeds or on the short list of contenders, but you don't want to look past somebody because you might find yourself getting the wrong end of a surprise.
Yeah. Got 2 Simley kids out here. There go Kenny.
Justus, Dayee, and who's the other one? As we get a
kid that just shot the 3 right there. I can't think of his name right now.
Well, he puts the black team on the board 13-3. And I feel silly because I covered Simley in a game. Pink team up 15-3. You would think I would know this. Justus, I remember, but not the other one. Okay, some of our younger spectators have pipes. But Willie Brazil, I did talk to him in that game because I've run into him, of course, over the
100%.
years. And he said, give us a few years and we'll get Simley back in the ranks as Bellefield scores the layup.
Yeah, he Coach Brazil definitely had a young team. A lot of his makeup of his team were a lot of kids at the 8th grade, 9th grade level. So getting that opportunity to get thrown in the fire to play against some high-level varsity competition. I think that is a recipe for a longevity at the end of it when you get to the junior and senior as being in that opportunity to play early on. You get that experience firsthand.
Rebound for the black team. I don't think you have to worry about the time limit. And it's still a 30-minute period for consistency, but with these 7th and 8th graders, I think they could play a few more minutes than that. But the black team's still stuck on 1 field goal. Here's Armstrong. They're giving him all kinds of shade. But Bellefield is there to knock down the 3. 20-3, the pink team dominating this 7th and 8th grade matchup. And here comes the black team trying to get themselves in the hunt. We'll see. 3-ball. I think that is Clark who's out there.
Clark is out there again as a young buck playing against these 8th graders.
20-3 the score. Clark draws a foul, and again, he'll shoot one. You get 1 for 2.
20-3, looking for Black to go ahead and make a run right now. Pink is just getting out in transition early, sharing the basketball, knocking some shots down right now. Hopefully Black can pick up the pace and get a good run going on right now.
Tayden Clark, one of many names who could be making an impact soon, if not already, because all these young men are eligible for varsity if they haven't played already.
Yep.
A couple of the Simley athletes. And you know what? Crystal's triple threat event, I go back to that. I got to see Jordan Johnson before she became a big name athlete as Bellefield lines up the 3.
Very deep 3.
O-board. Rebound. Second try. No shot clock, of course. In an all-star game, I don't think it comes into play, but it is kind of funny. Some of these kids have already played with a shot clock, so is it strange to go back to a game without one? And a lot of these kids, as the pink team scores again, I think they typically play quick enough where it wouldn't come into play, but I wonder what that's like, going from a shot clock to no shot clock.
Yeah, the shot clock makes the game very, very interesting. Gives kids an opportunity to understand how fast the pace of the game is. I think the shot clock should have been implemented in the Minnesota State game for a very, very long time ago. Especially with the type of talent that we had that got opportunities to play at the Division I and the professional level. Bellefield for another 3.
Bellefield back-to-back buckets. 27-5. As a broadcaster, I've always advocated for it after seeing some infamous examples, and I never hated the teams that would stall. It was more, it's like, don't hate the team, hate the system.
Right.
But I go back to Hopkins Lakeville North 2014. You might have heard about that, the 4 overtimes.
Yeah.
Shakopee, Lakeville North won it. And then Amir Coffey won that semi on a buzzer beater. That may be the most outstanding example, but that won't happen anymore as the black team now getting some buckets to fall, 27-7. But for me, now it helps me work out possessions more or less. In terms of gaming, how big of a lead is enough to get the win? How much of a path a team from behind has? So now you start thinking more in terms of possessions as opposed to foul and chase and turning it into a free throw game.
Yeah.
But I've noticed as long as you're paying attention to the clock, 35 seconds is plenty of time to run a set.
Yeah.
And another thing that I've seen, I feel it also better rewards teams that run good zone defenses.
100%. Gives you an opportunity. Right. A 20-point lead is not safe anymore.
Not as safe, no. And if you want to run zone or a junk defense, something like that,
yeah,
you can get the stuff. Yeah, you don't have to try to go for a steal
a lot of things that you
or worry about the other team.
A lot of things you could do strategy-wise when you have a shot clock and put the game on speed, so to speak. It's a lot more possessions in the game, so to speak.
So line change subs being made, 29-9. Pink team over black, and then we'll have another three-point shootout and put this 2025 edition in the history books. We were talking about this earlier through my other work as the black team, they're getting after the boards now, crashing with impunity. And they'll have a chance to shoot some free throws here. I don't know all of the logistics that go behind it, but I have I'm just seeing. I was like, wait a minute.
Garino Camp.
Okay, is that another of Colin's kids?
Yep.
Okay, because I saw they both had the mental health hoodies.
Young Camp.
I see what's happening. Okay. I thought for a second he might have borrowed it. But no, they're two peas in a pod, basically.
Yes, indeed.
I was going to say, I know some athletes who played in it would love to see the Intercity All-Star Classic come back. We kind of have two separate showcases for younger players.
Yeah.
I don't know if this would be difficult or easy to pull off, doing some kind of co-op. I know a lot of men's and women's players, they go to each other's games.
100%. Yeah,
they
I
often
think
say
it'd
the
be
biggest fans of the game.
Especially with like competitions, like far as like 3-point competitions, it'd be a nice opportunity to co-op, get some of the best shooters on the women's side and some of the best shooters on the men's side, and actually see them compete like how Sabrina and Stephen Curry did.
You're right, last year in the All-Star game. They do say the biggest fans of the game when it comes to the men and the women are the players on the other gender. Like the biggest women's fans are the NBA players and the men's players, and likewise, because I think they all share that same bond. They know all the work and investment you got to put in. So they understand what it takes because they've all been there. 31-13, pink over black. And we had a lot of great athletes come through over the years. We talked about Angel Robinson, Taylor Hill on the girls' side. I got to cover a few of Tyus Jones's games. Suggs, Holmgren, Trey Holloman, who has been a solid, stellar athlete at Michigan State.
Yeah. Minnesota has definitely had some great talent over the years, and just to see him now doing something and seeing the future, so to speak, it's going to be interesting to see these next few years going forward of what some of these kids that we see right now building a name for themselves going forward.
Well, this pink team making a name for themselves.
Right now, for sure. It's complete domination on this pink side, so to speak, today. So you've been saying pink has been dominant.
We have had a lot of runaway games. And it happens sometimes. I've seen that at the Triple Threat event. And thinking about all the players that came through, I mentioned Tim Williams was with me for the second game. Olivia Wren, Jada Walker from Roosevelt. They helped the Teddies go to state for the first time ever. Anisha Scott played in a few of those. She's going to go to Richmond. Sine Hill, who I swear plays in anything. If it's a game, she'll play.
She's going to definitely play. She's picked up some opportunities. Actually, two-time Adidas 3SSB national champion. So she's looking towards going for a three-peat right now. They have a really, really good team that's been together for quite some time. So it's going to be interesting to see what this summer looks like on that women's side of the game.
39-18, and I am not as versed in boys AAU, but I have to think Brian Sandifer will have some pretty top-flight athletes lined up and ready to go. He got a lot of attention when Suggs and Holmgren were a part of the group, but
yeah, even before
there's more. There's always another one.
Even before that, around my era, Jordan Jett was probably one of the best athletes walking around here. He's a Brian Sandifer kid as well. Deontay Roberts, David Hicks, like I said, Jamar Diggs, those type of kids, man. So it's been a lot of players that come out of here from this program, this lineage, and doing some great things. Still got Prince of Legby, who's at Seton Hall right now. Seton Hall playing right now. So you got some kids that played in the Sizzle lineage that's actually doing some good things right now and getting opportunities to play.
Brandon, are you as surprised, befuddled as I am that we have a timeout in an All-Star game?
I am very surprised that this just happened. Like Coach Chandler's over there trying to make some adjustments right now to get this thing down a little bit, but that's the first timeout that we've seen
at all
today. So.
I'm dumbfounded. Doesn't anyone know you don't take timeouts in an All-Star game unless it's close in the final 2 minutes?
Let's see if they can put a run together.
I think that's Dayee with the Magic shorts. or something with the stars on it. Turn around. 12 minutes left. Pink going outlet again. Another layup. I did the Girls All-Star Series last year, the one run by the Coaches Association, and we did have some late game strategy because our second game had to be settled in overtime. We unofficially confirmed that it was the first ever All-Star game to go to overtime.
For sure.
Well, because people don't keep track of the box scores.
No, they don't, but
not like the NBA All-Star game or
sure.
the McDonald's All-American game.
When you get into a game like that, when it's close, you get an opportunity to strategize. Yeah, you want to take those timeouts and want to put the best players that you didn't got a chance to evaluate or that you've been accustomed to get them on the floor and get you an opportunity to win a game.
It was amusing to see an All-Star game go to overtime because you're typically not flooring it as a senior.
Yeah.
These kids, they've been leaving it all out, going full throttle. I know folks like to rip on the NBA All-Star Game for players not trying hard, but these young men, they've got something to prove, and they're not going to leave anything on the table. Now, they're not trying to lean through contact. They're not putting their bodies at risk, per se, but they're not loafing around is what I'm trying to say.
100%. You kind of want to see the intensity. You kind of want to see the intensity from start to finish. I think that's the reason why the black team down so big. They came out here with the lackadaisical type of mentality. Now they're gotten to play with a little bit of sense of urgency, trying to get back into this game. So let's see if they can make a run in this next 10 minutes right here. And they got the pieces for sure. Referees are starting to make a little bit more calls now.
And we've got some brinksmanship, a battle of wits. Pink up by 17, so they still have the upper hand, make it 19 as Bellefield banks in the runner.
This Bellefield kid is actually really good. To see him competing with these 8th graders as a 7th grader right now is actually good to see.
All that tells me is that maybe next year, if not, certainly as a freshman.
Justin looking like a man amongst boys right now with that varsity experience that he's had over at Assembly.
Justus, that
Dayee.
It helps that he's a little taller.
100%.
Well, and you got to be a man amongst boys when you've got players like Bellefield and Armstrong that you have to go against.
Yeah.
But again, he had a year of varsity to learn the ropes. Baseline attack, the kick out. Now we're starting to see some ball movement, some sets here. 41-22, a deep three is there.
And Pink is running away with this thing. It's it don't look like it's close, and right now they look like they got 3 7th graders out there right now playing on this floor right now. The ones that's been doing the majority of the scoring for this second unit that they have.
44-25. Steal for the black team. If they have a run within them, they're trying to ignite it here. Following his own miss.
Still a lot of time left. Make a run.
Right, even with the running clock, if you can get some stops, you can cut that margin down in a hurry. But a reminder, got to follow that shot. Another drive. This is what we're talking about. You get a quick stop. Not a whole lot of time went off the clock.
Ooh.
Dayee, the
Good
step
move.
Through, too strong.
Just can't finish it.
Bellefield leaks out, and he'll show him how it's done. 46-27. All right, 3 on the way. Offline. This is I thought we'd see another long ball. Nope, Dayee kicks out. Now we get the long ball, and it's
layup.
PR.
He said it's a layup.
That's what you call a high-low high play, high-low kick out. 46-30, 7.5 to go. Squeezing through the hole is the pink team. We'll have another line change as the black team comes in. This may not be the closest game, Brandon, but I feel this is the most athletic game we've seen. It helps that they're older, but you can tell these young men, they've learned the ropes, they've picked up on their tendencies, understand what works, and they are ready to go. We've seen it with Justus already. He may be a name to watch for the Sibley Spartans down the road. Runner is short. Black gets it back, and then they throw it away. Under 7 to go. We will have a 3-point shootout after we're done. Our final one.
Nice strong take for 2.
50-30. Behind the back. Time running up for Black. Good defense to force a contested shot.
Yeah.
Like I said, Brandon, they're not laying back. They're playing defense. Armstrong lost it. Catch and shoot. Good for 2.
The intensity starting to pick up, but it's still no match for the Pink team. Pink has just ran off with it. And I think defensively they've been up and down as far as getting in transition early, playing a little bit more free.
They've got the quicker unit, it seems. But they had a couple of players who were big impacts in the last game. And again, it is interesting and enlightening when you get the crossover games, whether it's this or the triple threat. You get to see how players take advantage if they have a size advantage, like the Watkins twins did last year. And then they go up against bigger players. How do they carry that over? Because it gives them something a little different.
Yeah.
Not unlike what these players and the young women out there too will see in AAU and high school. Every team's a little different. Whether you run into an undersized but scrappy unit, Hopkins fits that bill. They didn't really have a true post.
Yep.
Or a team that's got bigs to back up the low post. Anoka had a pair of them on the girls' side. And I can't wait. I know, Brandon, you'll probably watch a lot of games this week for the state boys tournament.
Yeah, I'll
with
be
under
in
5 to go.
For sure.
Who do you like? Cretin-Derham Hall, I think they're the 1 seed in 4A. 3A, Totino Grace looking for 3 or 4 in a row.
I'm gonna be a spectator. I'm gonna be a fan of it. Just watching some good basketball. I'm gonna reserve my my answer and my judgment for the barbershop.
That's okay. I do a tournament preview on the girls' side every year, and I always add the clarification that I make a guess. If I'm wrong, it's because your team put in the work. So don't take my prediction as gospel. I'm just making the guess like the rest of you. But I have the same clue, the same amount of knowledge that the rest of you do. I can make a guess, but honestly, I don't know either. You gotta play them out.
It's gonna be. I believe it's gonna be a lot of upsets. It's going to be some Cinderella teams making some noise. Oh, wow, he just went up there to go get that.
I mean, you've got the perennial and Totino Grace in 4A. You'll have a new 3A, a new champion in 4A with all of the topsy-turviness in that one. Wyzetta's back in the field, though. You know they'll be tough. Cretin-Derham Hall, the number 1 seed. They always bring a talented team. Class A and 2A, I'm not as versed in like I used to be.
I'm interested to see if TG can get a three-peat, and I'm interested to see if Brett can go back-to-back. That two-way is really tough. Again, another layup in transition. Pink is just running away with this game here. But I'm interested to see if he can three-peat and if Brett can go back-to-back. And it's going to be interesting to see at the 4A level to see who's going to be the new state champion, because we don't have our former state champion in Minnetonka. Oh, good pass. Is he going to get up?
That's what I call a fortuitous bounce. You like to see that, the players sharing a laugh with each other. Even though the player on the black team slip and hit the padding, he just flashed a smile over at the guy who scored on him. And a reminder that this is an all-star game. I don't know if it was like that when you play, Brandon, in game mode, but it is fun to see the players have a little friendly gamesmanship like that.
It was definitely a mixture of both of it. it was friendly in the beginning, and then when it was time to turn it on and it got real competitive and guys were trying to win the game, you could start to see that it was very, very intense. This Bellefield kid is going to be really, really special if he does everything the right way moving forward. I actually like his game. He's athletic, can play defense, can score off the dribble, can shoot it a little bit.
Bellefield, I'd argue, one of the standout players in his pair of games.
Yeah, if I was so to speak, I probably would give him MVP.
If there was
If there was an MVP, he'd probably be the one to get it.
But, it's okay if there isn't.
Yeah.
It goes back to what you and Coach Colin Moore talk about, making sure it's about the team, not the individual. But it does help when you have a guy whose stroke is on point.
He can play.
I cannot wait to see where he ends up in high school.
100%.
Whoever gets him, they are going to get a high-level scorer who can knock it down from all three levels, 65, 36. And he just has that motor that doesn't quit. He just keeps on going. Look out. That might have been a heat check. Oh, got the save. How about a runner? Well, second chance points are always valued.
Pink has been very, very dominant today from the beginning of it all. Like you said, it's going to be very interesting to see where a lot of these kids end up. A lot of these kids are very, very special. Bellefield, just the way that Bellefield is competing right now with a nice pass. Keion is very, very athletic. He's competing all the way to the end. If I'm giving an MVP, that's going to be my MVP of the day.
Black looking for one more. They get the three. Oh, there's still time if Pink hurries to get one more. 69-39. Oh, come on. Why'd you do that? All right. Well, it's 69-39. Let him finish the play. Why'd you have to foul him? What did he do to you? But what a game.
Definitely.
Bellefield in particular, a great pair of showings. And I don't have names and numbers, so I haven't bothered to keep track of points. But Keion Bellefield,
look out for him.
He might be a special player.
Look out for
I'm not going to say he's the next Jalen or Chet because I don't want to put that kind of pressure on anyone.
But just to look out for Keion Bellefield.
He could make a difference somewhere.